Today's review is supermarket time again. It's a Infinite Fog. This is a double IPA from Northern Monk and available in Sainsbury supermarkets. But what's it going to be like? Keep watching to find out. Welcome back to Rocker's beer review today. It's not Cosmic Fog, it's Infinite Fog. So we had Cosmic Fog, that was a Northern Monk beer and that was with 2 flints. It's all weird the way they use these names. So this is and that was a Tesco beer. So this is a double IPA Infinite Fog with the same sort of similar name, but there's no 2 flints. But now it's a hazy dipper, so 8%. I won't dwell too much on anything else because, like most Northern Monk supermarket beers, they don't actually say what's in the bloody beer. I mean, they do say that there's barley, wheat, and oats, and hops, but not the bloody hops. So we don't know what hops are in it. So we're going to be playing a guessing game. So let's pour it out, see what it's going to be all about. We've got a double IPA from a supermarket. Always a difficult one to gauge. You never really get a great one, but if you can get an average one, and you're paying, I think this was a bit more than the 375. It was £4, or yeah, I think it was £4, but you can still get it on the 4 for free. £4 for an 8% double IPA, pretty good value. But of course, if it's shit, it isn't. But this beer in a glass, well, I mean, it doesn't look that dissimilar to a decent sort of looking IPA. There's a haze there, but it's not as thick as you would want from a double IPA. We got just 2 fingers, fairly compacted heads, lots of tiny little bubbles around the edge there. So I'm not quite sure, but it's got a nice little bounce to it. So yeah, looks all right. Let's see what the aroma's like. Very supermarkety in terms of tropically, citrusy, nondescript. It smells okay. Let's see what it tastes like. Cheers, everyone. This is shit. Firstly, it's so light and watery in its taste, and you think, oh, there's nothing to hang on to flavour. And then when that subsides, the second that sort of subsides, you're left with this just warmth, with very little in terms of flavour. It says on the can, citrus and peach. No, I'm just getting an alcohol burn. That's all I'm getting. The beer is soft, but it's light. I mean, I just had the that New Zealand IPA. And it's almost exactly the same in terms of its sort of consistency, its body. But there's no flavour. All you're getting is this sort of hoppy, burny flavour and alcohol burn. Yeah, I mean, you could say there's a subtleness of peach and there's a lot of tropical flavours, but it's awful. It really, even for £4, it's just not even worth drinking. I mean, it's not terrible in terms of flavour, but it's just... There is no flavour. I don't understand how I can make... The Cosmic Fog one was an IPA, and that was pretty decent. This is like a worse... How can they make it worse when it's a double IPA? Really, it's difficult to do that. You're amplifying the beer up. But with this one, you're not. You're getting this weird sort of selection of burny sort of flavour, and... you're not getting the juice. You're not getting really nice hoppy flavours. You're not getting anything. I've tasted enough. I'm going to do some scores. And they ain't going to be very good ones. Okay, I've done the scores already. They're quite immediate. I'm a little bit angry about this beer. I'm not even quite sure what I'm pouring it back into the glass. Is it going to develop? I don't know. So we start with aroma. There is a slight You know, it's weird when some of these cans, you pour the last little drop in and suddenly all the magic's in that last bit of, that literally the last couple of spoonfuls of beer. It's weird. So I'm getting a bit more, I'm getting a bit more pungentness in the aroma. But I'm still smelling quite a sort of hoppy, alcohol-y sort of aroma and not much in the way of bright fruits at all. It's quite weedy and dank without anything really of redeeming features in terms of aroma. So I'm going to give it 11. Appearance, well, it's a yellowy beer, but it's got haze to it, but it's not a translucent sort of haze you'd expect with a double IPA. So I'll give it a 7 for appearance. Flavour wise, well, as I said, there's no flavour to it. You drink it, there's an echo of a bit of peach, but really what you're tasting is an alcohol burn, a warmth, and maybe some sort of hoppiness it could be, but and it's a slight sort of tropical light mix. But for an 8% beer, you expect so much more. And as I say, we don't know the hops in it, but I couldn't even come up with the hops. I don't think there's any New Zealand hops in it, but I wouldn't have a clue. So flavour-wise, I'm going to give it a very poor 29 out of 40. So value for money, I'm going to give it 7. I think it's a generous 7 because I knocked it down from 8, but I still think even at £4, it's not great. So 7 for value. And my overall experience, I'm going to give it 10 out of 20, which, you know, is a pretty low score. It's not... I'm almost thinking there's something in there, but I can't quite get it. And I'm thinking, oh, was it the way the can's stored, all that sort of stuff. I always get that with supermarket beers. But it's one of those sort of beers that you expect more from and you don't get it. There's just little to sort of warrant its existence almost, you know. It's not a beer that you go, oh, that's so bad, you're going to pour it down the sink. But at the same time, you're just drinking it because it's liquidy. There's just very little. There's a bit of peach flavoured in it. But that's sort of, there's this weediness that comes right through. Then you get this warmth, this, whether it's a hot burn, alcohol burn, whatever it is. But it's not brewed in a very pleasant way. So 10. And then we top the scores, we get 65, which is the Bon Jovi. No, it's not the Bon Jovi. Is it the Bon Jovi? Yeah, it's the Bon Jovi of craft beer. It's, well, very rarely we have a beer under 70 these days. But this is your typical supermarket beer. Northern Monk. I mean, you go and find a Patrons Project sort of beer. I mean, I've seen a couple of beers recently in Trembling Madness that I had a look today, thought, well, I might buy some beers or whatever. And I looked there and there was a few Patrons. There was, one of them was a double that was £5.50. And another one was an IPA that was like under £5. And I bet they are 10 times better than this. A little bit more money, but you know, Northern Monk know how to make great beers. It's not as if they're a brewery that's just like bobbing along, seeing what they can get away with. They make exceptional, some of the best beers I've had over the years have been Northern Monk beers. And so you drink this and you think, is it someone, you have to keep checking to make sure you've got the name right, Northern Monk. They used to be one of the best breweries. They still make absolutely amazing beers that aren't in supermarkets. But when it comes to supermarkets, oh, it's a weird one, isn't it? Northern Monks, I'm so conflicted because I've had some Northern Monk beers in supermarkets that have been some of the worst beers I've ever tasted. But if I sit back and think, well, what are some of the best beers I've had in the supermarkets? I'm probably going to think of a Northern Monk beer as well. You transients. You know, the Faith in the Futures, that one in the white can, the Sabro one that came out a couple of years ago that was in supermarkets. I think that was really good. We've had other very above average IPAs like Scafell, like Order of the Faith and all that sort of stuff. Lots of faithy sort of based beers. But then you get some that have got weird shit in them, like adjuncts, because they're like a mango smoothie sort of thing. they're rotten. I remember that one, the Neapolitan one. This was going back way back in sort of four years or so ago, right near the beginning of my channel. That one that was Neapolitan ice cream pale ale, and it was, it's the worst thing I've ever tasted. It was really, really bad. So they can get it so right and so wrong. And the key to a great craft beer brewery is consistency. And that's what Northern Monk can't do. They just cannot do it. They every time you have a great beer from them, the next one is an awful beer. And then you think, oh, I don't know. And then you have then you have another beer and you think, oh, no, it's not going to be great, is it? You think, my God, this is the best beer in the supermarkets. And then you have their Patrons Project stuff. I don't think I've ever had a bad one of them. And most of them have been really, really good. So Northern Monk, I think you've got to work out where you want to be. I mean, I'm sure they'd probably say, if I sat in front of them, they'd say, well, the thing is, we need to get our brand out there. Supermarkets do that. Sometimes we don't make the great beer. Sometimes we make a good beer. Or sometimes they could probably argue, well, actually, that batch wasn't great, or that beer's really good, but you've had a bad one because that supermarket keeps it in a hot sauna in the back, down in the back of the back of the shop. That is the problem with supermarket beers, and Northern Monk are all over supermarkets. I don't know where I'm going with this, but it's a bit of a rant. I do love Northern Monk. When they make great beers, I love them. I just want to sort of think about those and not all those bad ones I've had as well. Because that's to say, it's not just one or two bad ones. There's a lot of bad ones. And it's just not one or two good, really, really good ones. It's a lot of really, really good ones. I can't think of another brewery that I know that makes so many really great beers and some really poor beers. It's a very rare in this in the craft beer scene to be like that. But Northern Monk, they do it. They do it really well. They do the really great and really average and really shit really well. So, yeah, let me know what you think about that. Northern Monk, I'm going on a rant, but I'll probably buy the next Northern Monk beer in the supermarkets and think this is the best one, isn't it? Weird. Okay, that's it for today. Give it a thumbs up if you like it. Subscribe, because I've lost loads of subscribers. I think YouTube have done sort of cleansing of my channel and said these people have never looked at your channel apart from that one back in 2021. So probably the Neapolitan ice cream one. So yeah, please subscribe if you're not a subscriber. If you got this far, then yeah, you give yourself a pat on the back. And by doing it, when I mean pat on the back, I mean pressing the thumbs up button. And until the next one, well, drink a craft beer and keep on rocking.